the statement you recently made, the CFPB recently made about digital marketing, can you explain what the significance of this is? Is it that if digital marketing firms are targeting messages about financial products, they're responsible if those messages are misleading?
Well, here's the thing. We have a lot of large tech firms who are increasingly getting into financial services, whether it's payments, whether it's lending. And we want to make it clear that they can't simply hide behind an advertiser exemption. Those firms are doing a lot more in many cases than advertising. They are designing, in some cases, the products. They are offering those services. They are trying to, in some ways, take control of the insights into our digital wallets. And they should be following the same set of rules that banks and other financial companies are following.
But practically, what does that mean? Like, in what cases might this be a concern? Does it have to do with some of these crypto products where people might not understand the risk to them losing all their money, not being able to get it out? If that's advertised to them, are you saying that the large platforms that deliver that message are somewhat responsible?
Well, it's a little different. It's really when those tech firms are really part of designing those messages or they're targeting specific types of consumers. We saw this actually at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, too, where they charged Facebook with violating anti-discrimination laws because of how they were allowing exclusion of certain prospective homeowners. So, look, it comes down to this. If the tech firm is really just a passive pipe to allow advertising to flow through, that's different than when they are directly involved in targeting or directly involved in shaping the content that is related to financial services. And look, this is part of a broader effort of tech getting into finance, and that offers a lot of opportunities. But also, we just want to make sure that everyone's playing by the same set of rules.
Right, and I think you said in the past, Director Chopra, that could undermine competition. At the same time, though, if the key here is judging credit worthiness in a space like buy now, pay later, wouldn't a big tech company, its access to greater amounts of data, be a safer thing for the consumer to whom it's granting loans because it would have a better view of their riskiness?
Well, it's actually all sorts of firms that are using more data to underwrite loans with the hope that they can price risk better. And of course, pricing risk better is better for the system. At the same time, we want to make sure that they're also disclosing the reasons why people are being denied or the reasons why they're getting an adverse decision. And they can't hide behind the fact that they don't understand their algorithm. So we've also tried to make it clear that you have to follow the same set of rules when it comes to offering credit, just as banks and other firms do.
And really broad question on the back of this, then, what do you think is better for consumers, credit cards or a buy now, pay later product? What would you tell your kids or a younger generation to use?
Well, honestly, it really depends on the person. There's no question that buy now, pay later is fitting a market need. It is exploding in growth. It's not just a Gen Z consumer using it. People now of all ages are using it. And here's what we're going to be doing soon. In the next few weeks, we're going to be releasing the results of our study. We compelled data from all of the big buy now, pay later companies, and we're going to talk about how are they using data. We're going to be talking about how they engage in credit reporting. What happens when consumers return goods? Right now, I think the experience is not the same between a credit card and a buy now, pay later firm. And we want to see all of the benefits of different types of products, but also want to make sure we understand how it's affecting consumers. You know, on top of that, I've got auto lenders and mortgage lenders asking, how am I supposed to write a mortgage or an auto loan if I don't know how much buy now, pay later loans someone has? So we have to look at the whole thing in its totality.